Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. The important second commandment. Why was it removed? In the original Hebrew text of the Ten Commandments, e.g., Exodus 20 verses 3 to 6 and Deuteronomy 5 verses 7 to 10, the second commandment is very long. Here is a translation that captures the meaning, Luther 1912, slightly smoothed. You shall not make for yourself an image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or on earth beneath, or in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. This long second commandment emphasizes the strict prohibition of images, image worship, idols, which has always been very important in Judaism. Why and when was it changed? In the early Catholic Church, from around the 4th century, the prohibition of images was increasingly seen as impractical. This was because images of saints, icons, and statues were becoming increasingly important for worship and popular piety. To prevent the prohibition of images from becoming too much of a focus for believers, the second commandment was quietly shortened in the list of the 10 Commandments and combined with the first. I am the Lord your God, you shall have no other gods before me. In Protestantism, from Luther onwards, the prohibition of images was reintroduced into the list as a separate second commandment, out of respect for the wording of the Bible. As a result of the Catholic tradition of deleting the second commandment, 2 commandments are missing from the list. 9th Commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. 10th Commandment. You shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Beloved sisters and brothers, my mother is now almost 100 years old, a deeply religious, rooted woman. This treasure trove of spiritual connection, combined with diverse relationships, still gives her an intense life, without a television. But one thing still makes her very unhappy today. That the Catholic Church removed the second commandment and divided the 9th and 10th commandments instead. Since then, the focus has been primarily on desire. But isn't desire precisely the Creator's ingenious trick to motivate us to develop? In our eagerness to be better or have more than others, we discover our potential and become active. It only becomes destructive when we try to keep others down, and unfortunately, we see this all too often in power politics. But why was the second commandment such a thorn in the side? If we look deeper, it is hard to deny, our soul appears over several lifetimes. Image, an envious glance at the neighbor's solar panel and car. Later, he has the same thing himself, but even better. Again and again to learn, and to pay off debts. For how could a just God allow innocent souls to bear the guilt of others? So let's take a closer look together. What does the second commandment really tell us? And what healing message does it hold for us today? You shall not make for yourself an image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or on earth below, and you shall not worship them or serve them. That sounds strict, almost dismissive. But if we listen carefully, we sense that it is not a prohibition that enslaves us. It is a suggestion that sets us free. For how could we squeeze the Creator, who carries heaven and earth, who created all the galaxies and our hearts at the same time, into a figure made of wood or stone? How could we capture the infinite in an image? It would not do him justice. It would be a betrayal of his glory, and also a betrayal of ourselves. For we are created as living images, more than any statue could ever express. That is why God warns us. Do not confuse the sign with the source. Do not confuse the image with me. And yet we see statues lined up in churches and chapels, magnificently dressed, many even with weapons. And Jesus? Jesus hangs there, on the cross, in his darkest hour. Isn't that disturbing? The Creator did not create us to worship creation itself, or images, or money, or science instead of God. He calls us, serve me, and serve my creation. Are all these beautiful icons now meaningless? I, too, have a picture of Jesus surrounded by beautiful nature in my place of prayer and meditation. For me, and for many others, it is not a substitute for Jesus or God, but a door through which I can enter into the divine space. Such images are wonderful and valuable aids, as long as they do not become idols. And money, material things, possessions have often become idols. Everything can serve creation and creatures, or only my ego. That makes the difference. This is precisely the deeper wisdom of the second commandment. It is not the beauty of things that is the problem, but what we make of them, whether we allow them to become a door to the divine or an idol for our ego. That is why it is worth taking a closer look. What do we truly worship? And to whom does our heart belong? And then we ask ourselves, why am I feeling so bad? What have I done? Sometimes life seems hard and unfair, but the second commandment also explains this to us. The iniquity of the fathers is visited upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Isn't that unfair? What can these souls do about it? No, it is a hint. There is a karmic inheritance, a responsibility that spans many lives. And suffering, as difficult as it is, can atone for guilt. It purifies. It sets us free. And after that comes joy. Because eventually, everything is cleared up. Doesn't that give suffering meaning? Meaningless suffering makes us despair. At the end of this commandment, there is not only a threat, there is a promise. And I will show mercy to thousands who love me and keep my commandments. Not only love, but also act. Proactively doing good, bringing healing into the world, that compensates for all old guilt, even if we don't know what it is. And that, dear sisters and brothers, is the healing message. Suffering without meaning destroys, but suffering with meaning heals. And joy always waits behind pain. Therefore, do not make any images, neither of God nor of yourselves. Remember, you are greater than any image. And in the end, there is not the cross. In the end, there is light. May this impulse help us to realign our hearts, away from the idols of the world, toward the one who alone makes our lives whole, rich, and fulfilled, our God, who welcomes us with open arms. With all my heart, here is a poetic, quiet yet powerful closing prayer that echoes the thoughts of the sermon. A closing prayer. May your heart be free. Lord, source of all light, we come to you with open hands and hearts. Free our hearts from all false idols that bind us and lead us away from you. Open our eyes to the beauty of your creation, not to worship it, but to recognize you in it. Grant us the wisdom to use things without giving them our hearts. Let us love what you love and serve as you serve. We are to love people and use things, not the other way around. Be the door we walk through, the goal we are heading toward, the light that shines on our path. Amen. Movie camera.